is my patient. I have rights.
I understand that, sir.
Look, I am not just some turnkey, Miss Starling.
I don't know, quite honestly, how I came up with the creation of Hannibal Lecter. They started down in Washington, and meanwhile I was up in Utah doing this movie with Michael Cimino, The Desperate Hours. The 2nd of December, 1989, I was down in Provo. We'd finished the film, finished midday, dead on 1 o'clock. I packed my bags and took off and decided to go south. I had no idea which way I was going. I just wanted this long journey.
Best of all, though, 1 week of the year, you get to leave the hospital and go here. Plum Island. Every day of that week, you may walk on the beach, you may swim in the ocean.
In each motel or hotel where I was staying on my journey, I was thinking about Lecter. I was learning the part, going through it, sifting through it, thinking about it, getting images of the guy, images of the film, and then go to bed, sleep, and the next morning I wake up, and then maybe maybe 2 days later I'd have a look at the script again, and suddenly some new ideas, not even ideas, but some texture, some feeling about the character would become more profound, more, potent, or more palpable.
Plum Island Animal Disease Research Center. Sounds charming.
I was just so glad to be back in America and driving this vast continent that it is. And it fills me up in some way. I get a great pleasure and I get a great fulfillment from it. And by the time I reached Pittsburgh, Hannibal Lecter was ready to start work, I guess.
Tell me things. Not about this case, though. About yourself. Quid pro quo. Yes or no?
I remember when we were doing, I think it was the 3rd interrogation scene in that very cell, came up with the idea. He said, I think we ought to do something slightly different now. He said, maybe you should be sitting somewhere on a bed and not facing her at all. That's what Jonathan is good at, and I think that's what directors are. The really best directors are the ones who know how to tap into an actor's resources.
One night he surprised 2 burglars coming out of the back of a drugstore. They shot him.
At that point, when you ask her about her father, he said, look away from her. She said, can you do that? I said, yeah. She said, just look back into the cell, but not at her. And it had the most odd effect on me and in the film, I think, because when he asks about her father, he looks away as if her pain is too much for him. And his own pain, his own past, his own monstrous past of his own abuse, because he's been an abused person.
Quid pro quo, Doctor.
That's a very complicated psychological profile for a character, which is really difficult to relate, I think, in a 2-hour movie in which he virtually is only in a quarter of the film, not even a quarter of the film.
What else?
She had an object deliberately inserted into her throat. Now, that hasn't been made public yet. We don't know what it means.
Was it a butterfly?
Yes, a moth.
I think the wonderful thing about the Clarice-Lecter relationship is that once she accepts him as human, she also tells him that there are boundaries and that those boundaries are to be respected in some ways. He sees himself as her mentor, and she allows him to see himself as her mentor because that's how she's going to get what she wants, which is the information in order to track down Buffalo Bill. And the truth is that it's a quite beautiful, quite intimate, respectful relationship.
You're so close to the way you're going to catch him. Do you realize that?
No, tell me why.
After your father's murder, you were orphaned. What happened next?